Welcome to Barb's Craft Room. And today I'm going to show you how to make a card, and I'm going to do a series from the Stampin' Up! Catalog, the current Stampin' Up! Catalog. However, I will probably be using retired paper and ink, and I'm doing that so that you can see that you can use what you have. All right. So it's not always easy to come up with your own card. So what I'm going to do is we're going to stamp in the catalog, and I'm going to use what I have, and I have the Biggest Wish stamp set. So when I looked it up, I thought, you know what, this card is really cute, and I'm going to do this. So let's start. This, you can see, is a purple card. I'm going to start with Bermuda Bay. This is a 4 1/4 by 11, and when I fold it in half, it will be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to do that. I previously made a video on how to cut your 8 1/2 by 11 pieces of paper. And this is an 8 1/2 by 11, and half of 8 1/2 is 4 1/4. So I cut it down like that, and I have 2 cards. On this card, I'm going to make sure that I have it opening correctly. And I have this printed paper in the same color, the Bermuda Bay, and I can choose which side I like. Well, I believe this one would be the cutest. Before I, excuse me, before I glue it down, I'm looking back at this card, and it looks like it was raised up. So I'm going to raise it up by using dimensional they call these Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. It gives an elevated, it gives your paper a little bit of elevation. Very simple to use. You just put them on your paper, remove the backings, like that. On my desk, I have a little tray that I put these in, like this. Just a little tray. When it gets full, I empty it into the garbage. Okay. Now it has a little bit of a raised edge there. I'm going to put this off to the side, and we're going to stamp. I have a piece of white cardstock. It measures about 1 1/2 inches by 11, but I probably am going to cut it smaller after I stamp. So on this card in the book, they have pink, yellow, light green, dark green, and a blue. And then on top of the dark green, they have a little lighter, this color on top. Well, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do these colors. I've chosen for my card polished pink as the first color, mango as the second color, Mango Melody, The third color will be Pale Papaya. The fourth color will be Bermuda Bay. And then I'm going to use the birthday in Evening Evergreen. And I've kind of planned it ahead of time. So I'm just going to show you how to stamp. And in between the stamping, we will have to wipe the ink off. So let's go for that. Just to make sure that this stamp is clean, I washed it off. Evening Evergreen will be birthday. And to stamp, you tap your stamp on the ink pad, tapping it. You can look at it and say, well, you know what? This didn't have enough ink. So you go back and tap it, tap it, tap it, till it looks like you have enough ink. I still don't see enough ink on there. So I might want to tap it a little bit firmer. And now it looks like I have enough ink. I'm going to gently lay it on there and firmly press. Okay. Uh-oh, it didn't come out 100%. This is Evening Evergreen, and so I can take Evening Evergreen pen, which I do believe I have right here. This is how I clean up my mistakes, or this is Evening Evergreen Stampin' Write marker. I'm not a fan of the leftover mess, so I can take this marker and very carefully fill it in, and you would never know. Well, I'm going to know because I went out of the line. Therefore, I'm going to flip it over and try again. I'm not wasting my paper. I'm just going to flip it over. Let's try getting better ink on there this time. And I see something on my stamp. Looks like a piece of glitter. Pieces of glitter will make holes on your paper when you stamp it. So you want to make sure your stamp is clean. There we go. Stamped ink, 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 ink. Let's see if I get a better stamp this time. Sorry about that. But that is a way to fix your stamp if you make a mistake. And I still have glitter spots. We're going to go for it this time. And I will need to use the happy 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But I don't want to mess up by mixing colors. So I'm going to take the first color is going to be my lightest color, which in this case is Pale Papaya. So here we go. Happy, 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 happy. And these are the order in which I'm going to put them on the paper, but not necessarily how I'm going to stamp them. And since I'm going to cut my happy a little bit, that's nice. Then I'm going to wash the stamp and dry the stamp so that I don't mix my inks. And hopefully, if I've done it correctly, it will work. Mango Melody is my next color. And just firm press Mango Melody. If you are new to stamping and your pads are not fully juiced, you won't get a really good ink stamp on your paper. My next color, now I have two. I have this one and this one. I'm going to go with the pink one first. I think I'm going to go with the Bermuda Bay one first, because I believe the pink one might stay longer, just in case. So, Happy in Bermuda Bay. Oh, and that one I pressed a little too hard and got ink in between. So we're going to have to do that again, which this time no ink in between. There we go. And now I'm going to need another piece of white paper because I ran out. Or I don't. I can flip it over and make sure that I know exactly where I stamped. So with a pencil, I'm marking and marking. So in between these two pencil marks is where I'm going to stamp in pink. Okay? That way I don't have to get a new piece of paper. I'm all about conserving that paper. And make sure it's right in between. Happy. There we go. Then I have one more happy to do, and I'm going to use Petal Pink. And I'm hoping Petal Pink will stand out on top of the Evening Evergreen. So we will find out very shortly. Another thing I wanted to let you know when you are using stamps, sometimes we want to line up our stamps exactly with the square. As you can see, I offset mine. And that way I can line up the word and not the block. So there we have it. Now that is done with the stamping. That was the mess up birthday. So now I'm going to trim my lettering. I'm going to trim it down to 1 1/4 inch. So it must have been 1 1/2. And hopefully, you know what? I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to cut each word. That's what I'm going to do first, because I got the words on the other side, and if I cut this, I would cut that. So that's not going to happen. So I'm going to cut them one word at a time. And I'm going to flip that one over so I make sure I have it. There we go. Happy, happy. Flip that back over. Happy. Happy. And birthday. Now I'm going to trim each word down to 1. Actually, it's Yeah, 1 1/4. I'm going to do 1 1/4. Which is going to make it a little more difficult, but that's okay. 1 1/4. I'm thinking I might need to make this less than 1 1/4. I want to go right above that lettering. And I don't think I can do it with I think I can do it better with a scissor. But you will have to do it how you can do it best. Okay? There is birthday. Sorry. It has to be exact for me. And I can't do it on a trimmer. You can try cutting the paper exact to begin with, but I can't do that. So, anyway. On the card, the happy birthdays were offset a bit, and I'm going to offset these on the card. Not liking that there. Okay. Happy, happy, happy. Looking at the birthday. Okay. So these look like they were just glued down. So I'm going to glue them down. And then when I'm done, we will compare the card. I'm going to offset it just a little like that. And then this one, I'll offset it just a little like that. But there we go, offset. And then this one looked like it was tucked under a little bit. So I'm going to tuck it under just a tad, like that. And then birthday, I think birthday, I'm not sure if it was popped up or not, but I think we should pop it up. Okay, so the bottom birthday was put on a little crooked this way. I mean the bottom happy, not birthday. Did I say birthday? I didn't mean birthday. Okay. And then birthday popped up. Right, is that straight? Straight. And then this birthday was actually cut out, fussy cut all the way, and unless it has a die cut, which I'm not aware if they have one because I didn't look. But I don't mind fussy cutting like this. You just, doesn't have to be perfect. You just go around the lettering how you know, as best as you can. And you want to move the paper and not the scissor. So I'm cutting by moving the paper. There we go. And there's my happy. Oh, and that looks fantastic on there, which I'm also going to raise up. I'm going to put a couple of little dimensionals on. And on this original card, they had a piece of vellum across the top, and I wasn't prepared for that, but I'm sure I can quickly find a piece of vellum. There's a piece, and that measures 2.5, I believe. 2.5. We'll go 2.5. We'll go 2 3/4. 2 3/4 by 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. 2 3/4 by 3/4 inch, and then diagonal cut this way, and flip it over, and diagonal cut this way. We'll put that on there like that. I like this glue because you don't see it. There we go. Take the backing off of this and put my happy there. And we also want to put some, this one in the book has a flag, and it also has some rhinestones around the edges. So I have some little dots here, and none of them match but the white, but I'll take the white. And so I'm going to remove them from the backing. There are so many different ways to remove them from the backing. And they have this take your pick tool, which works. But I seem to always go back to the old style of just picking them off and putting them on. You don't need all the fancy tools, unless of course you think you do. So there's that, and now we need a flag. Well, I have some paper sitting here, and I have a punch that makes a banner. So I'm going to punch this paper. This is just some paper I have sitting over here. It's a farm paper. I don't want the farm, but I do like the stripes. So I'm going to punch the banner. There we go. And I'm going to add that to the card like that. There's my banner. Does that seem kind of large? Kind of, but it's okay. And then I have this piece that I cut off, and then we will make it a flag for my banner, which I probably should have done prior, but it's okay. Can you see it? There we go. A banner. And there's the card that we made, and there's the card in the book. So I think the banner went the other way, but that's okay. It's the same card. And that's how you make a card out of the catalog with what you have. I thank you for watching.